I don't disagree with anything you said, and I don't know. I don't know who he trusts on these kinds of.
Who, the president?
I don't know who the president really trusts
McDonough.
on these kinds of strategic.
McDonough. McDonough.
Yeah.
The young guy.
The young guy. Yeah, but he doesn't.
I read with Valerie Jarrett. There is a woman named Samantha
Power. Yeah. No. Yeah, but he doesn't. There's a difference between who he trusts and who he likes.
Yeah.
So, I don't,
Relationship.
you know, Valerie Jarrett. Do you know Valerie Jarrett?
Yeah.
She's an idiot.
She's?
An idiot.
I don't know her well enough. But I noticed that yeah. I noticed that Obama, he listens to her. His telephone is always open for her. He listens to her. He believes her instincts about politics, about who is against him, who is for him, what's going around, who is cooking what from Chicago to the world.
But it's like, do you think Richard Nixon ultimately listened to what B.B. Rebozo thought?
Listen to?
You may not know this name. B.B. Rebozo.
No, I don't remember him.
Richard Nixon,
Yeah.
B.B. Rebozo was some kind of business, semi-corrupt business guy who was Richard Nixon's best friend. Mm-hmm. And whenever Richard Nixon went to, Key Biscayne or went to California, B.B. Rebozo was there. Richard Nixon would spend a lot of time on B.B. Rebozo's boat. No. And if B.B. Rebozo wanted something, Richard Nixon was there. No. But I don't think when Richard Nixon was deciding what to do about the
China
war, he was talking to B.B. Rebozo.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the way I think. Valerie Jarrett.
So in this regard, he's probably alone, but he feels, comparing to other leaders that I happened to meet in the last decades, Obama impressed me as an extremely autonomous person.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
He feels good with himself, even when he's alone in the room. I didn't see in him what we know in Clinton or in our Paris. And unshut, however intelligent and experienced there, emotionally or psychologically, there is deep in there within their personality, an unsatiable need for love, for explicit expressions of love. I didn't see anything of this in
I've
Obama.
never seen there's lots of things to say like that. Somebody told me the story that Bob Reich told me this story. This is Robert Reich, who was Secretary of Labor.
The small guy.
He said he had been a friend of Clinton's. They'd been students together in England, so he was kind of Clinton's friend. He said that if he went to a cabinet meeting, and whenever Clinton looked at him, he looked annoyed or looked away, for sure Clinton would call within 2 days. How's it going, Bob? What's up? Is there something on your mind? What's going on? He just wanted the love. If you tried that shit with Obama, you'd freeze in hell before he called. Obama didn't. He had lunch. He was president of the United States, and he had lunch alone half the days.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They would schedule in time for him to be alone. Mm-hmm. And if he did some event where he was speaking to 1,000 people, they would give him like a little rest time afterwards.
No.
Right.
It was too many human beings around.
Yeah, he just wanted to be,
Yeah.
he had no need.
Yeah.
And it's the same, he wants to be with the people he wants to
I
be
think
with.
it's a source of strength, ultimately, in tough moments in politics. Probably it's not the most effective way to mobilize people.
No, but it's a very, or look, another thing, which I'm sure they tried a lot of times. If you were president, let's say you're president of the United States, and you like to play golf.
You like it?
You're president of the United States,
Yeah.
and you like to play golf.
Yeah.
Okay, which he does.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a big asset. It's a potential
Yeah.
big political asset that
Yeah.
you like to play golf.
Yeah.
Okay. The president likes to play golf with his buddies, and so 80% of the golf is
Yeah.
with the same three guys.
Yeah.
His photographer, his campaign guy, and his three buddies from Chicago. That's who he plays golf with. Now, most people, if they were president and they played golf, they play golf with people from Congress. They play golf with business guys. They play golf with people who would.
Read Clinton memoirs.
Yeah.
It's so boring because it's like a list of the special what he had done with anything, and still very careful not to insult anyone years after he's not in office anymore.
But and Obama just is not. It's all.
Cerebral. He's extremely cerebral.
They called him, and he has this. Their nickname for him during the campaign was Black Jesus.
Is that right?
Who knows what kind of character Jesus was?
No, but he has this sense of himself
Yeah.
as not needy
Yeah.
and
I
removed.
I think of other elements. I think that when he looks at the pictures of all his predecessors, he doesn't see them all. He sees probably 7 or 8 of them. Probably Washington, Jefferson, the two Roosevelts, I know, probably, of course Lincoln, probably Kennedy and Reagan, I know. He doesn't see the rest of them. He thinks in terms of greatness. And understand that greatness comes from few major decisive achievements, sometimes against all odds, that happen to be perceived at hindsight as important. And that's, I think that when he thinks, even on Iran, what really disturbs him is the possibility that this will be a great stain on his role. If they turn nuclear under his term, under his watch, where he had, Bush, it's a paradox, we used to joke in Israel that Labour governments can make war and only Likud governments can make peace. Here you find something similar. The Bush administration, they can run very high rhetoric, but in effect they were parallel even from ordering the Pentagon to plan contingencies for certain cases. This administration, they got Nobel Peace Prize as a down payment before they even started. Somehow they are planning and preparing much more seriously. I visited the Pentagon right now. They keep improving. I used to scorn American colleagues that when we are talking about surgical operations, we're talking about using scalpel, and they are talking about chisel with 10-pound hammer. But in the last several years, they developed extremely subtle scalpels, probably more effective than ours. And bearing in mind that they hold the big stick there anyhow, without having to announce it. Basically, I once told the president, look, I'm confident that if on a scale, a spectrum of operational decisions, a decision to delay the Iranian nuclear program by several years would look more like a raid on bin Laden than a fully fledged war in Iraq, you might have considered very seriously already. It is only the fact that somehow people succeeded in implanting in your mind an extremely dramatic scenario that might eventually develop out of it, that makes you judge it as something closer to the other pole. And that's not an accurate description of reality.
But didn't you start out? I might not have this exactly right, but I think he started thinking that part of his grand legacy was that he was going to bring hope and harmony to the big Middle East.
Yeah.
That he was going to give the Cairo speech, that the Islamic world was going to feel better about him, that Israel was going to be induced to be constructive, that there was going to be peace in the West Bank, and then everybody was going to feel better, and he was going to do for Iran what Nixon did for China.
Yeah.
And so I think he started with the idea that he was going to be a visionary great man. And I think he's learned in the last 4 years that that's not going to happen. And now I think he thinks, and now I think it's much more defensive. That is, I think he's trying to avoid a stain rather than to have an achievement.
Right.
Is my sense.
Yeah, we shouldn't try.
Is my sense watching him. But is he? For how long? I mean, I have this sense that people always say the next year is the crucial year, the next 9 months are the crucial 9 months.
About what?
About Iran. But then it sort of
moves.
Drifts.
Moves a quarter every quarter.
Moves what?
Moves forward a quarter every quarter.
Yeah, it's like shale oil was, I think it's no longer true, but for 40 years, the price at which shale oil would be profitable was the same. The current price of oil plus 10.
Yeah, but when it's 100 plus 10, it's different.
No, I'm saying it's no longer
4 plus 10 is 8 plus 10.
Right, but it's but is Iran likely to come to a crunch in the next year?
What's the crunch to reach a nuclear capacity?
Is there likely to be? Well, no. I mean that's one question, but I mean,
I'm not.
So things that could happen are there could be an attack.
Let me describe it the following way. Iranians will always act based on what they feel, to what extent the other side, mainly the United States and Israel, are ready to act. And they are clever enough to act counter-cyclic, namely when the attention of the whole world is somewhere else, or where for other reasons will be paralyzed from doing something, they will be acting. When all of us are focused on it and stand ready, they might even go with further gambits. They might announce that they stop everything for a year, just in order to. And they are chess players, extremely clever, but they are determined to follow in the footsteps of Pakistan and North Korea, and not to fall into the trap that, in a way, late Gaddafi, or under other circumstances, the South African fell into. And clearly they want not to end with something like Iraq or Syria. So the very fact that I can quote these 3 pairs of examples means that there is opening for them So there is a need for something much more dramatic than the present kind of level of sanction. They are very unprecedented and very painful for them. It reduced their reserves dramatically, and some of the reserves are practically blocked. They cannot approach it very easily. The real, the currency, was devaluated dramatically. And it's not easy, but as we know from other examples in the past, the elites doesn't suffer.
See, that's what I was struck by. I was struck by the fact that I didn't see, if you treated the country as one actor doing what was best for the country, then I think there's a case to be made that the reward, take off the sanctions, give them rewards, they give up the nukes, all that. But if you take it from the point of view of the people who are there now, I don't see how, if the sanctions come off and they give up the nukes, they're alive and in power a year later.
Yeah, it's the basic strategy of the regime is to defend its continuity. And for them, I'm talking from time to time about zone of immunity for the nuclear military program. But the whole program aims at achieving another layer of immunity, an immunity for the regime. They see, look at what happened right now in North Korea. They fully understand, the Iranians, that once they turn nuclear, that's become the ultimate guarantee that no one will try to intervene within the internal, however brutal they might have to go with their own people. So that's what they do not need it in order to drop a bomb on a neighbor. They need it in order to be able to spread terror, to hegemonize the region, to intimidate neighbors, and to be secure that whatever they are doing will not end up with someone trying to topple the regime. So I think that the problem is that for us, for Israel, time is running out because they keep acting, they keep enriching, they keep preparing more centrifuges. Now start with a new version of centrifuges that will be probably 5 times more effective in enrichment. That shortens the time frame between decision and reaching a weapon grade capabilities running from 20% or whatever. They protect better the size, they improve their surface to air missile system, the radars to identify stealth kind of airplanes or even kind of cruise missiles. They are not sleeping. They already built a force of some 6,500 floating mines with GPS that can navigate, so to speak, their place into their places in the Straits of Hormuz. And it's quite a converging effort to create enough redundancy that Israel, with its limited military potential, won't be able to delay them by significant time. And probably a year later or 18 months later, even America won't be able to do it in a clearly surgical operation. And that's basically their calculation. So they do not have a timetable. It doesn't matter for them. They waited for nuclear weapons 4,000 years. They wait another 4 years or 4 quarters or 4 years, doesn't matter. They just want to reach it before they start to collapse as a regime. That's the real.
Will their election matter?
It matters because it gives excuses to those who doesn't want to create a moment of truth, not to reach this moment. under normal situation, the coming spring, it should have been a moment of truth where P5+1 is going to meet in Kazakhstan. Afterwards, probably direct negotiation. There was some rumors that Valerie started to... She was born in Iran, in Shiraz. Her father led...
Who was that?
Valerie Jarrett was born in Iran.
Was she really?
In Shiraz. Her father was, before the revolution, he was heading a hospital financed by some international NGO, by American government, somehow to help the Iranian people. So she was born there. And some others, even, some former players, including one of my former colleagues and some former leading ambassadors, try to create a direct contact with the Iranians to try to clarify what would be the terms under which. And the Iranians assume, I know it, I'm not guessing, that this type of guys would not have contacting them without informing the NSC or State Department, Pentagon, whatever. And so for them, even if the intention is not this, it is read by the Iranians as, and they might end up, I recommend it to my colleagues here too. I told them, we cannot pretend to be able to tell you whether to talk to them directly or not if you feel that's ultimately necessary to, absolutely necessary to make sure that you exhausted all alternatives. But if you do it as early as possible, so that coming the election, coming April, they will have to face a choice, because if they reach election and you are still negotiating with them, they will tell their people, we are standing firm against the whole world, including America, they're all crawling to our doorstep to ask for some concessions, and at the same time they keep moving. It's ridiculous. And I guess that even after election,